Sup fams, you're tuned in to the Channel Eeps episode 153. I'm your host EEPMON, and I apologize that it has been about 4 weeks since my last airing, but believe me, it has been a busy and productive time. That being said, I recently gave a presentation at the University of Ottawa, and the theme is basically this: change tomorrow, today. A digital artist, entrepreneur navigating in a volatile world, lessons from risk, resilience, and the unknown. And the reason why I want to talk about this and share it with you all is because it is evident that we are living in volatile, trying times. And I'm sure there's a lot of questions, a lot of uncertainties, definitely a lot of unknowns. And how does, from a point of view of an entrepreneur, a point of view of an artist, how does one navigate through such crazy times? So when I gave my presentation, I think one of the key things I told the audience is that us artists are not immune from the economic turmoil. Not only do we have to diversify our portfolio, we also need to diversify industries, access. It's interesting because in school, we were working on a portfolio. It's like, okay, you got to show that you're good at this, you're good at, doing this thing, that thing, kind of shows your multitude of skill sets. That being said, it is also important that whether you're an entrepreneur or not, the ability for you to show that you can diversify your access working in different industries shows that you have a unique vantage point and multidisciplinary skill to be able to pivot. As a digital artist, I felt that using digital tools empowered me to access a multitude of different industries, whether it be in fashion, video games, graphic design, illustration, fine art, hell, even blockchain, and increasingly my involvement with institutions, even government departments. Now, I would say traditionally in the art world, the trajectory of an artist would be like, okay, get a bachelor's degree, get a master's, have a solo show, and if you are lucky, or if you show you have the talent, perhaps a curator or curators will attend your show and perhaps even give you a solo show at their gallery or something. Maybe I'm just blanking it as a very general trajectory of an artist, but usually that's the case. And what I find in education systems or institutions they lack doing, at least for me, I think they failed to do, is they could teach us how to paint. They could teach us about, the rule of thirds, all that kind of stuff, color theory. But one thing that is increasingly aware that I'm being more, what I've noticed is that there's a lack of education about being an entrepreneur, being a self-sustainable artist, how to navigate through turbulent times. How do you navigate without a curator? How do you navigate without being represented by an agency or an agent? How do you go at it alone? Increasingly, we are enabling ourselves with tools to bypass these um, agencies or middle agencies that are there to supposedly get you opportunities. I think that's changing, and creators now have the ability to get it on their own, get their opportunities on their own. And increasingly, I feel that we need to know, like, increasingly, we should be able to redefine what success and opportunities mean for us, for society at large. So these old traditions of what constitutes to success is pretty much flip on its head. And that's how what I've always, that was a long-winded story of tying back to what I realized as a digital creator. If I have the power of the internet, like I learned early, if I had the power of the internet, I'm using digital tools. It doesn't matter where I am in the world. It doesn't matter who I contact or who I collaborate. I can call the shots for the first time. I don't need to rely on someone or some agency to dictate the trajectory of my career. And I learned that early, that this is what the digital age should be about. For the first time for me, it was like using tools, digital tools, to empower yourself to reach out to new audiences. And that's where the innovation lies. So diversifying your portfolio and diversifying your portfolio of industry reach is very, very important, especially in today's day and age. And by doing so, you, in a way, protect yourself from volatility. So perhaps, for example, if the fashion industry isn't doing so well, then you may be, because you have these relationships built in these other industries, it could also mitigate and protect you from, if one area of industry is like having some like having issues or having problems. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you want to you got to play this strategy of assessing holistically what's happening. Of course, you have to have a pulse on what's going on in world affairs, macroeconomics, just really knowing at high level what's going on, and really see how you can pivot and navigate based on the current climate of our day and age, or business, or the economy, the industry. So that being said, I think being agile is very, very important. I don't know if they teach agility in school, right? I don't think they teach about entrepreneurship truly in school. I don't think they really talk about STEAM. Everyone's always talking about STEM, but arts, creativity, the A in the STEM narrative is so crucial, so important in this day and age. Innovation has a lot to do with the A in the STEM narrative. Okay, I don't know if they even talk about mindfulness. I don't think they talk about how to financial literacy. They don't even teach about financial literacy these days. And that's like learning about a course and majoring or getting a PhD of something is great, but if you can't financially sustain yourself, or knowing how to be smart about your money, you're going to be so much in debt, and then what's the point? I would rather teach fundamentals and how to sustain yourself than to get something that really not sure if there's any guarantees, right? So I don't know. I'm just going a bit of a rant here, but I think that is why, uh, for me, of course, I went to school. I have a computer science background at a Gong college. I have an interactive multimedia design degree at Carleton University. That being said, I would dare say that the majority of my growth has a lot to do with outside of school. I think school provides you the fundamentals and the foundation. But to think that that alone is enough for you to get out into the real world is very naive. And that's why, unfortunately, I don't think they talk about diversifying industry access, diversifying portfolios, financial literacy, the things I talked about earlier. So I think there is a big disconnect from my observation. But I guess I was telling the audience, back to my talk, my presentation is like, this is what I've done. This is the trajectory I've taken. People laughed at me. People didn't think they didn't take me serious as an artist because I'm always all over the place. But there is method to my madness. In a way, I am reaching out to new audiences, and as an artist, that's what we're supposed to do, right? I'm like, why would art be like just hanging on the wall? Like why are we so accustomed to that idea of where you're an artist and we immediately think, oh, a canvas on a wall? Like, no. The art of being an artist is to reach out to new audiences, to expose your work to as many people as you can. Being an artist, my MO as an artist is to be as free as possible. And the more that people see it through whatever means, that I think I'm fulfilling my duty, my obligation as an artist in today's society. Which so happens to be goes hand in hand with diversification. And we're seeing that more and more, or at least there seems to be a pulse of people moving in that sort of direction, realizing that the traditional notion of corporate gigs work is failing a lot of people. So anyway, a bit of a rant, just my thoughts. I don't want to go too long. But I'm gonna try to keep up my channel EEPs. This is 153. I'm gonna try doing more and more of these talks, and could be just rants. I'm just like, this episode, I'm all over the place. It's just a stream of consciousness. But for sure, I would be talking a lot about what I've been doing. You know, I was just in Japan. I don't know if I even announced this on the channel East, but I am Canada's first creator in residence for Library Archives Canada. So I will talk about that later. There's a lot going on. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed what I talked about. I will continue on this trajectory of the channel EEPs. So yeah, hope you like what I say. Please like and subscribe, and let me know what your thoughts are in regards to the state of world affairs. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.